another end of the week drawing retrospective video where I blab about stuff and nonsense. So yeah, I had another little cold this week. Actually, this one was a little bigger. I'm getting a bit fed up with this cold. Basically, mostly because all my work colleagues, they got a cold, and I was like the last one left without one, and eventually I caught it too. So if I sound more weird than not usually than usual, it's because I still have a pretty runny nose and a very growly voice. Anyway, this week was much more because I was feeling pretty bad. I devoted it more to the Inktober thing, and I sketched a lot more in my Inktober sketchbook, which I will, when I get done, I will rip the pages out because it's not really so important. Now I'm gonna scan every one of them. I'm gonna keep the pages though, of course, for archive purposes, and I'm gonna post those, but that's gonna be at the end of October, when Inktober ends. Probably even sooner, because I did even more than one drawing a day, so yeah, probably gonna be a lot sooner. This thing says it has like 40 pages, but yeah, there's like 17 more days left, and I went through all of the pages. So yeah, the one day I actually did 3 drawings. I think you were supposed to do only one, but whatever. I'm making my own rules as I go. This is like the first time I'm doing this thing. I wanted to do last year, but yeah, didn't happen. But this year I took the necessary measures and I did it. I bought supplies in advance and I set a reminder so I could actually do it. Anyway, getting to what's going on the screen. This is the only drawing I did this week digitally, unfortunately. I kind of, took a little nap Wednesday, and after getting back from work, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a drawing, at least to sketch an idea out. And I had this idea of a character I did. She's called Hitomi. She's kind of like a sort of like a henchman character. She goes in and she has, obviously the main bad guy is like the boss, her boss, and she goes in and she does the sort of dirty work, like taking the heroes for a fight. And decided to do a little drawing of her. I had this idea of her having a chopper, and went in and sketched out. Wasn't necessarily too happy with the sketch when I did it, and I always this always kind of happens to me. I always do like a sketch and I have an idea out, and the second day I'm not really so confident because I wanted to ink this, I wanted to finish it. But the second day when I look on the sketch, I'm like, I don't really want to continue this. But this one I pushed through. I kind of sort of isolated my mind from that thought and just changed the brush preset I had to my inking one, and things worked out pretty well. I mean, it's not the biggest, my biggest masterpiece or anything by far. I mean, from the perspective at the end, you'll see it's a bit wonky. I was even toying with the fact of maybe I should do the chopper in Google SketchUp, which I will do in the future, but I first have to kind of, sketch it out separately. I might do it in the weekend, I don't know. the rest was pretty okay. It was kind of to give me this was, you could say it's like a production sketch thing. I mean, it's not really a sketch because I fleshed it out, but sort of like a production drawing. I made it so I can get a better idea of the environment of where this character will be. Of course, the environment's like so hyper detailed or anything, so, but it kind of gives you an idea of what the character is. We know that now she has a motorcycle, and she's part of a story that I haven't really gotten to write anything about. So yeah, obviously I do have scenes in my head, and one thing is, like, I do have the idea of the bad guy, but I'm not really sure what to do, how to put it on paper. So yeah, I'm gonna have to work that out, which is pretty hard, to be honest, when you don't really know what you actually want to do. So yeah, with the bike, I had a fun time doing it. It was a bit weird at first because I hadn't done a vehicle and polishing it in some time now, and but it came out pretty nice. And it really reminded me of American Chopper, because I looked for some reference and found all these cool choppers. I was mostly going for a sort of like 70s look, but 70s choppers, they mostly have like they have like the big front tire, which is very skinny, but the rear tire, is just a tad bit more fat. It's not really as skinny as the front one. I kind of really like those, but I really like the modern chopper. I mean, sort of modern choppers. The more, nowadays choppers, where they have like the big fat tire on the back and the sort of skinny tire on the front. So that was nice. And I was looking for some reference, and from all these cool bikes. Was a nice design. I thought maybe I would kind of use reference from, and it was like this bike, and it didn't have the wheels, didn't have the spokes. It had like some sort of other system to make the wheels spin and work. But I also found, was this like photo, with the doodles and one of their choppers, and reminded me of the show, which was pretty nice. It's kind of sucks that it kind of faded away into obscurity. I don't know if they're on the show now or not. I haven't really checked. I heard rumors or something that they're gonna remake it or whatever, but I don't think it's gonna have like the same vibe it did when it first aired. And it really went to, I would say, unforeseeable events, and a lot of things happened along the way. I mean, they had such a big success. I mean, they even had Will Smith on, and that was one of my favorite episodes, actually, when I had Will Smith, and also in the first, I think it was the first season or the second one, where they built the fire bike, and that was a very nice motorcycle. It was very, very nice. Lots of cool details, and it's one of my favorite bikes from the show. So yeah, it's nice to kind of watch reruns of the show, but it's not like when you had it at that time when it was running, like it was that sentiment of, okay, what's gonna follow up next. And they actually had like this at the end of every episode. They had in the next episode, I would tell you, sparks fly or whatever, and they would show, senior and junior having another, flip out. But it was, obviously that made the show, gave it its uniqueness, when the doodles, had their feuds and stuff. I didn't necessarily enjoy it too much, because up to a point you can say it's entertainment, but then there was another point like, okay guys, but you're doing like this beautiful thing, you have this thing going on, which is so nice. And sometimes it felt like they were like ruining it by arguing and, almost at the point where they would break up. And eventually they did, they did. And yeah, over here, making a little side note, I was kind of marking out where the like the tires made made a tire track on the ground. That kind of really realigned the perspective and to make a little bit of a change. And yeah, basically, the scene is not something super spectacular, just, this Hitomi character on her bike. She's like on a cliff and very near the city, like overwatching the city. And as a little, you could say it's an Easter egg, although it doesn't have any meaning. There's this little frog on the bottom of the screen. So yeah. And as much as I liked to color this picture, I didn't really get to do it because it was getting pretty late. And I am kind of approaching the end of the video here. There's just only a few minutes left. I'm just putting some, putting the figure outlines, and after this, some areas of very dark, my darkest dark, so to speak, in ink, but pretty much, the image is fleshed out. And I'm gonna change the hair on. She's basically wearing a helmet that has like that crest, that crested hair. And this is pretty much it. I didn't really want to go too overboard. So next week, hopefully, I'm gonna come back to my original schedule of, digitally drawing every day, from Monday to Wednesday, so I can record stuff and, process. But I also want to finish the script at the weekend for my War Babes comic, so I can proceed with that forward, the concepts and other characters. So yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully I can do it. Hopefully I don't do something stupid in the weekend and my health goes, bananas again, and I'm pretty much stuck. But as of now, I'm pretty well. So yeah, some final lines here on these areas, which are pretty detailed. And this is gonna come to a close pretty soon. So as I said, hopefully I can do the script and have some more stuff drawn next week digitally, because it's like kind of taking a break, so to speak. So yeah, so I don't get rushed to, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in my next drawing retrospective, which will hopefully have a lot more stuff to show. Oh yeah, and here's the little frog. I'm basically gonna stop the sound recording here. I'm just gonna let the video play for the rest of what it is. So yeah, bye bye, and thanks for watching.